as Donnie said, I'm a writer, former columnist, but I'm also a poet. I love doing poetry. And I do something called Black Poetry, which is telling Black history through poetry, because I think it's important to remember and to understand really what your history was about. And so when we talk about being on the backs of those who have come before us, how many of you know what the Niagra Movement was?
The what?
Niagra Movement. Does that ring a bell with anyone? Okay. How many of you know what the NAACP is? Okay. Then you need to know what the Niagra Movement was, because that was the back that the NAACP stood on to be able to create opportunities for people of color. So my poem is about the Niagra Movement. So the Niagra Movement was about self-realization, empowerment and education, equal opportunity, using one's minds instead of one's limbs. It was about us, leading us, giving ourselves permission to be consciously Black. W.E.B. DuBois instilled in us the confidence to showcase our own culture, to pursue our own art, to Renaissance Harlem, to fight for the advancement of all colored people, to lead our own causes. In 1905, Black people hadn't yet risen to the level of necessity in the minds of white folks. Back then, Du Bois reminded us, tolerance wasn't some special gift that we should accept only when it was offered. He was clear he would not defer his opinion to one that preferred that we break our backs to get something we were promised but never given. If we want what we want, we need, W.E.B. Du Bois said, to take it. Passivity will not prevail. You could not hammer Black people into conformity, make us apologize for the injustice committed by others against us. We are not a sorry people. Antagonize, philosophize, unite the oppressed, seed a revolution, agitate, educate, raise your voice, raise a movement. 29 Black intellectuals from 14 states answered the call and gave birth to the Niagra Movement. Their demands flowed with courage, with intent to be in charge of ourselves. W.E.B. Du Bois insisted that we stop begging for our basic rights and start demanding democracy and decency, and helping us remember that we could not wait for good white folks to decide if we met the criteria of being worthy to be served at lunch counters and sit anywhere we darn well pleased. The souls of Black folks could no longer dance to the heartbeat of a nation still quivering at that time with bigotry. We would not quietly offer up our necks for lynching and our backsides for back seats on public buses, our soldiers to die for a freedom overseas that they could not enjoy in their own hometowns. By the God of heaven, Du Bois wrote, we are cowards. If now that the war is over, we do not marshal every ounce of our brain and brawn to fight the forces of hell in our own land, antagonize, philosophize, unite the oppressed, seed a revolution, agitate, educate, educate, raise your voice, raise a movement. Not all Blacks wanted independence. They didn't want to upset no white folks. They wanted to play it safe and ask permission and capitulate. Let's just be grateful because now we're free. So let's rest in the wisdom of Booker T. W.E.B. Du Bois said, oh no. If you want to go somewhere, that you've got to be the one to go. You don't trust anyone else to speak for you, because even fill in the blank, Black leaders will generously serve you the blues. Only you know what's best for you, works for you, changes your state of being, meaning you've got to get involved in your own destiny. Don't give up your dignity by putting your future in the hands of other people and saying, please handle with care. Antagonize, philosophize, unite the oppressed, seed a revolution, agitate, educate, raise your voice, raise a movement. We claim for ourselves, W.E.B. DuBois wrote, every single right that belongs to a free American, political, civil, and social. And until we get these rights, we will never cease to protest and assail the ears of America. We do not believe, he wrote, in violence. But we do believe, he wrote, in John Brown, in that incarnate spirit of justice, that hatred of a lie, that willingness to sacrifice money, reputation, and life itself on the altar of right. Antagonize, philosophize, unite the oppressed, seed a revolution, agitate, educate, raise your voice, raise a movement. If W.E.B. DuBois called a meeting today, would you be there? Yes. Would you even care how other black folks fare in the face of poverty? Would you, like Booker T. Washington, emphasize my shortcomings and blame me for conditions that racism has created? Would you assume, like so many do, that you can end 400 years of oppression like a light switch? Click. Racism off, that's the fix. Now, why can't you just get over it? Would you merely whisper for ordinary decencies? Would you continue to gently knock on the door of opportunity, waiting for some good-natured soul to bid you entry? Or would you, as W.E.B. DuBois suggests, bust that door down? Thunder, as he called it. Thunder against discrimination. Thunder against illiteracy. Thunder against ignorance. Thunder against killings of unarmed black youth. Thunder against mental ghettos that still enslave people's minds. Thunder against the imperialism that threatens our democracy because people in government have rich friends who make weapons and there are kingdoms still left to destroy. Thunder against stealing the votes of elderly black people in Ohio and Florida. Thunder against the persistent achievement gap because the Brown versus Board of Education ruling changed America, but it didn't change minds. Thunder against verbal and emotional abuse that makes women feel like they are tangling with tornadoes. Thunder against the kind of gentrification that pushes blacks and poor folks out of their own urban neighborhoods. Thunder against black-on-black crime because our community silence is deafening while our young men die needlessly. And the body bags aren't the only things that are black. Thunder against the hip-hop videos that have women shaking their half-naked booties non-stop. Y'all know you need to get up and turn that mess off.
All right.
Thunder against injustice, even for criminals and outlaws. Antagonize, philosophize, unite the oppressed, seed a revolution, agitate, educate, raise your voice, raise a movement. Now, what you got to say?
All right.